Now, will college pay off? The question may be on the minds of recent high school graduates and their parents.
You could make more money than a high school grad and still not make enough money to pay off your education.
What we are about to show you will give you undeniable evidence that the college education system is on the fast track to destruction. It is time people prepare themselves for the college meltdown. The college years are regarded as some of the greatest memories in one's lifetime. But today in America, the overburdening debt and shrinking jobs market is exposing the ugly consequences of the reality that mindless attendance to higher education has drastic consequences for millions of students. Our education system, what so many have relied on as a pillar of achieving their dreams, is crashing. The cost for college is rapidly increasing, long ago overshadowing the conventional value it once had. Despite movements to reform our system through government intervention, it's now being realized that the more politicians put their hands in education, the worse and more debt-laden it has actually become. Socialized programs, with their well wishes to solve the college loan debt dilemma, have only buried any potential solvency deeper in its own grave. College attendance has peaked, and now we are witnessing what we will call the college meltdown. From grants and loans for various degrees across the board with little repayment viability to the constant propaganda by high schools and the media that everyone should and needs to attend a college or university to be successful in life. The truth is being revealed. Our youth lives in an age of increasingly crushing student loan debt with 5 consecutive years of declining enrollment numbers. It's 2017 and Americans are more burdened by student loan debt than at any other time in history. There are 44 million Americans combined that currently owe $1.4 trillion in student loan debt. The class of 2016 is graduating with an average of $37,000 in debt, up 6% in 1 year alone. Since 2003, total student debt has quintupled, now larger than credit card debt and auto loans. Diving headfirst into decades worth of debt has become an increasingly common phenomenon. To ultimately realize it was virtually a complete waste of money must be very triggering indeed. It may sound counterintuitive, but the fact that federally funded subsidies have allowed colleges and universities to charge more is undeniable. Tuition rates have increased at nearly 6 times the inflation rate. For example, if annual increases in Harvard's tuition had kept pace with the inflation rate, this year's tuition would be $15,000 rather than $45,000, not including room and board, according to the College Board. Further demonstrating the incredible economic imbalance we face is the fact that median wages have only increased 1.6% over the past 25 years, while the median student debt has more than doubled at 164%. We are witnessing a system that is costing more as the rate of return is plunging. Also, record number of students are not graduating on time or graduating at all, which is also reducing the return on their investment. Unbelievably, 1/4 of all U.S. colleges have a negative rate of return for students.
It's going to be a lot of debt to pay back, but it's worth it. It's worth it.
That means that 25% of graduates never make back the money they spent on going to college in the first place. Whether or not the media recognizes the extent of the problem, United States higher education is in the middle phase of crisis, especially for working and middle-class Americans. College costs have risen so dramatically that a growing number of colleges and majors are now considered risky investments. The New York Fed examined those fortunate enough to have graduated between 2009 and 2013. The study found that some 45% of college grads worked a non-college job. The struggle for millions of Americans to repay their student loans is real. This is crushing the future of current graduates, with many unable to get on with what used to be considered a normal adult life of living independently, having a career, starting a business, getting married, and having children. The crisis is even affecting Americans approaching retirement. Nearly 40% of federal student loan borrowers over age 65 are in default. The over age 60 group has $67 billion in student debt as of January 2017. That's up from just $8 billion in 2005. Those ages 50 to 59 with student loans have $10,000 to $25,000 less in savings than those without student loans. Not only is the whole millennial generation ruined by the college loan debacle, the elderly are feeling the pain from the meltdown as well. The Gallup-Purdue Index 2015 report stated that only 38% of alumni that graduated between the year 2006 and 2015 thought that they had a financially valuable college education. In fact, the economic situation is so dire, data was just released that showed at least half the students defaulted, did not pay off one penny of their student loan debt within 7 whole years at more than 1,000 colleges and trade schools. This is higher than ever recorded and an obvious sign of economic crisis waiting to happen. In 1990, the typical college student graduated with debt equivalent to 29% of their annual earnings. Today, that number has shot up to around 75%. And the official default rate in 1990 was at a record high of 22%. The way things are going, in less than a decade, student debt at graduation for the typical bachelor's degree recipient will exceed annual wages. This is why we've put together a special report for ways you can start earning income today to position yourself in the new economy. This sort of education isn't being taught in the centrally planned and media push world of more education. Their paradigm is literally crumbling before them. Already the federal government is giving up. Starting with nearly 400,000 Americans with disabilities, the Department of Education will forgive their total of $7.7 billion in debt. Though just a drop in the bucket of debt, this is just another action showing this problem isn't going away easily. Unfortunately, the government's drastic actions will likely lead to an absolute meltdown. In an attempt to solve it, we see nothing less than a government-led overhaul where the education system is completely socialized. Before we get there, we predict the new normal of student loan terms to be extended from 1 to 2 or even 3-decade-long payment programs. CrushTheStreet.com fully expects college tuition to outpace income growth for any foreseeable future. Now is the time to educate parents of potential college attendees and students themselves on how to make a more wise decision than agreeing to take on a mortgage worth of debt, only to find out it was a complete waste of money. Take the time to share this video with high schoolers and parents that are facing one of the most important decisions any individual will make in their life. Don't let them flush hundreds of thousands of dollars down the drain for a worthless piece of paper called a degree. For some real education on income-generating ideas you can implement immediately, visit crushthestreet.com/income for our free report on how to be successful without a college degree. That's crushthestreet.com/income to get the report. And inside, you'll get dozens of income-generating ideas that have worked for our subscribers, friends, family, and even our staff personally. Don't let your golden years go to waste. Get our free report now.